glad to be at your farm here today.
Glad to have you.
Thank you for inviting us out here at harvest time, and tell us about what you've got going on right now.
So we're finishing up elderberry harvest. We're also finishing up some of the hemp harvest, trying to get everything kind of buttoned up for the fall. We have had a busy year. We're between making product and planting new acres in the ground. It's just been a full year for sure.
I think farming years are always full years. Would you ever have a farming year that wasn't?
No, it's always, every year is always a challenge. You know, it's always different. We were a dairy farm forever. My family, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and we definitely wanted to switch it up a little bit and do something different, and we saw a great opportunity with elderberries.
Well, you have a beautiful old farm here. How old is it?
It's been in the family since 1899.
Well, that's a long time, 122 years.
Yeah, it's been around. And I think that was the vision for us. What are we going to do for the future? We were coming to a point where we had to make some changes to survive. Not only survive, but thrive.
Small dairies are falling away.
Yeah. You know, listened to you for years, teaching about elderberry, and we definitely decided that we wanted to try it and put in a few acres, and this was about 7 or 8 years ago, and definitely glad that we did.
So, for the people watching, can you give them some words of advice for ones that are just getting started, of things that you did that were good, and maybe something that was bad that you would change?
You know, I think something that you teach a lot is starting out small. You know, whether an acre or two, just start out with something that you feel comfortable with. You can always expand from there. I think that as you grow, you learn how to manage the plant better. One of probably the better investments we made this year was a mulch wagon, and I think everybody's problem at the very beginning is weed and grass control. And so we made a substantial investment in this mulch wagon, but going forward, I see it as a real game changer for us.
I love my mulch wagon. It takes so much work out of mulching. You can drive through there. So we have a small one. Did you get a smaller Mill Creek or Landco?
I got a Mill Creek. We got the mid-size, not the smallest, not the biggest, the one right in between. And it just does a beautiful job as far as shaping the mulch. We apply chicken litter, usually at the base of the plant, and then go over the top of that with some tree bark mulch.
Tree bark mulch. Well, that's great, because elderberry loves fungal types of mulch and compost on there, and bark mulch is, we think that's one of the best things to use. And it's oak as opposed to being pine. When you first started out, how did you start planting and starting the conversion over from your dairy farm to turning into an elderberry and farm here?
So one of the first things we did, we took some fields that were highly erodible in the river bottom that we had in traditional soybeans, and every time it would flood, we would lose topsoil. So those were the first fields we chose to get in something perennial, get a good clover grass cover in with the plants. And there's times that we get flooded down here in the river bottoms, but the plants are fine. You know, we just go down there, take a little debris off the plants, and they stand right back up. So I love that aspect of it as far as holding the soil and building the soil as a perennial crop.
Well, that's great. But on your irrigation, do you have drip irrigation or do you do solid set irrigation? Since you have that flood water, something that we found was if you're in a really high flood zone, it can be easy to wash your irrigation away and your mulch.
Well, one of the things, we utilize a lot of what we have here on the farm. This is an existing dairy barn that we redid, remodeled. But one of the pieces of equipment that I had from the crop production was a traveling gun. So on our fields, we have irregular shaped fields, and we pump the water out of the river and just use a traveling gun over the top of the plants. Drip irrigation is probably your best option of any irrigation, but we just kind of been utilizing what we have.
When you're on a clear Ozark stream like Spring Creek there, it's pretty nice to have that irrigation like that because it's movable, it's easy, it doesn't wash away.
Yeah.
It can splatter a little bit.
It's been an exciting journey for us. You know, we learn every year. Gosh, I don't think you ever become an expert at it. It's one of the easier plants that I've raised, and I've raised all kinds of crops. But I love the berry. I love that we can utilize every part of the plant, from the leaf to the berry to the flower to the stems, everything.
The roots, the shoots.
Yeah, and we preach a lot to other farmers that this is just an amazing opportunity. Something you can do on a smaller acreage, and I don't believe there's anything on that type of acreage that you can make such a substantial amount of money on per acre.
We see a lot of our growers now, just in their second year, making $10,000 an acre plus.
Yeah.
And I wish I'd have known about it earlier in life.
Yeah.
But as we begin, you know, we're trying to take over that European market and grow our American market here larger and larger. But it just seems the interest in elderberry is growing our local markets and use of our local berries really fast, and it just seems like it's a perfect storm happening for us.
Yes, I think when we started 8 years ago, people would say, "What are you raising?" Never heard of it. And then about 3 to 4 years ago, it was just like everywhere we went, you were a superstar. You're like, "Oh my gosh, you raise elderberries? You know, my family member takes it. They swear by it." And so when you have people come up to you time and time again, just saying, you know, how much they believe in the product and how much that, you know, it helps their family, that's a great feeling inside. And I think we're in a health and wellness revolution.
Oh,
And
yeah.
people are searching for natural alternatives. And this plant, being not only a native plant, is one of the most beneficial plants as far as antiviral, anti-inflammatory that we know of.
You know, like we say, it's bringing wealth to the farmers and health to our communities.
Yep.
Right here in the Midwest, and we can grow the best elderberries in the Midwest anywhere. So,
And I think that, you know, European, they have 30,000 some acres, but that demand worldwide,
it's not enough.
it's not sustainable. We have to produce more acres here in the United States. We can grow a better berry as far as the antioxidant value than the
Absolutely.
European, and the quality is fresher. And so I think that's the real difference that we teach people about the American and the European.
Well, we think we need 22,000 acres by at least 2050, all established and ready to go, just to take care of what our needs today are in the United States.
Yeah, and we see that all the time. The demand is growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was just like a tsunami a few years ago. We saw it coming. It's like, oh my gosh, we are not going to be ready
Yeah,
for this.
it was fast and furious there.
And I think this is the perfect time if you're interested in elderberries or interested in some alternative crop. This, as far as the Midwest, is one of the most promising that I really see.
I agree wholeheartedly, because we see it happening every day. Those farmers are making money, and we see people getting healthy, and like you, we have people call in and give us testimonials about how great they're doing with the elderberry, and we want it to be all American elderberry that we use in this country, and that's what we're striving for. That's what we hope.
And I just want to say thank you to you for teaching all of us, because you're the reason that we're all here.
It's been a great journey along with the researchers, and we've made a huge plan, and it's just kind of worked out and continues to go forward. We love it. We're all in this together. Thank you for being
Thank you,
here.
Terry.
Let's walk around and look at some of your other stuff.
Okay, sounds good. So we use some basic elderberry syrups. We do a elderberry syrup with aronia, and then we also do an elderberry syrup that has CBD in it. We like using CBD in with the elderberry for the anti-inflammatory and also for balancing the immune system. We feel like both of them together give the immune system a good punch. We have a lot of parents that use the CBD elderberry. If their child has fever, if it has body aches, the CBD seems to bring that down. We do some little travel size shots.
Those are nice.
We love these. Price point wise, you're looking at $4 or $5. Somebody is traveling on an airplane or just going someplace, doesn't want to take a big bottle with them, but yet wants a little protection for antiviral. This is a great thing to do. We have kind of a line of skincare products, and this is our first salve that we've come out with. We use the elder leaf, comfrey, beeswax, and then a small dose of CBD. For burns, bug bites, wounds, this is amazing. We have people with psoriasis, eczema that even use it and are getting relief from it. One of the things that we researched, that something from the plant that had been used hundreds of years ago, was the leaf for skincare products. And so we thought, what the heck, let's just try it. And we had a burn patient that was in the hospital, and we sent him some, and he texted us back and said, oh my gosh, he goes, this works better than they're giving anything in the hospital for me. And so for pain relief, wound just healing, I just can't say enough good about it. We do a line of honeys. We infuse the elderflower in the honey, then we strain the flower off. We do a couple of honeys with CBD infused. These all have elderflower infused, but these also have some added CBD.